Hello there, it's Kev here. Right, quickly, disclaimer under copyright, just in case I put this on YouTube later, which I may well do. It's been a while since I've done a video for OET writing, but I think now's a good time. So we've got a letter here, Mr. Foster, okay, and I want to talk about it. Got the writing criteria here. OET Ultimate Writing Guide as well, which is very useful. I just posted it in the group, Telegram, for those who are watching on YouTube. Link below. Now, the first thing, I want to address a question. Someone in the group specifically wrote to me last week, and they said they'd taken a lot of trouble to get their letter to be precisely 200 words. Okay, so as OET.com, as they say, there's no penalty, no automatic penalty. So if you've written less, or probably in your case maybe a little bit more, it doesn't matter. Now, it says each task is designed to be achievable within that word range. So if you've written significantly more, a lot more, it's likely that you've included irrelevant material, you've not organized it well, or your writing style may be a bit wordy instead of concise. Okay, so you can see there, right? So that's just something for someone who was talking about this last week. The word count itself is not important. You don't have to, precisely 200 words or you get a penalty. That's not the case at all. Now, I haven't checked the word count on this letter here. Let's have a look. It's probably not too high. Yeah, 213. That's fine. So, put some changes on. Now, criteria. So you've got purpose, content, conciseness, clarity, genre, organization, language, etc. So for a B, you need to get 2 and 55555. All right, this is what we need for 350 plus for a B. So the purpose. Now, I pulled this up from the official guide, writing guide. You can get it on OET.com. I posted it in the group, as I said. So, first things first, the purpose. So, like it says, many candidates use assigned writing to refer. Okay, well, you can, but there's other verbs that you can use as well. If you've got a specific request, you can say that. I'm writing to request your assessment and management, including a colonoscopy, blah, 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 of Mr. Patient. There's a few things that you can actually do. Now, purpose, right. So let me show you some examples. So, for example, right. So, now, you need to make sure that the purpose is clear. Let me scroll back up. Where is it? So you can find your purpose and okay, right. So what is it exactly you want the reader to do? Thank you for seeing for management. What I'm managing her blood sugar levels. That's what you want me to manage. Okay, or see what one's here. That's transfer. Yeah, right. Thank you for accepting Mr. Dunbar into your care. Okay, what do you want me to do? Monitor his diabetes, encourage him to comply with his meds, etc. Right? So it's got to be personalised. Now, the reason I mention this is I keep seeing quite a lot of very generic introductions that don't include the appropriate level of detail. You need to be careful. The criteria. Oh, that's a nice picture. The criteria is clear. Oh, okay, right. So, sufficiently expand, right? So what do you want me to actually do? So, you usually do this at the end of a letter. Yeah? So, let me show, like, you say, you know, I'm writing to request your assessment and monitoring of Mrs. Sharma's blood, sugar, etc. And at the end, in view of the above, I would appreciate if you could continually monitor, support her, and etc. Okay, so that's the purpose part. So again, the reason I mention this, a lot of your letters don't do this. You use this very generic introductions. So, like it says a lot now. Right? Not rely on pre-learned phrases and sentences. Now, again, I keep seeing these all the time. For example, and this is not, you know, aimed at you specifically. I keep seeing this. If you look at any of the proper samples from OET.com, you don't see this. You'll find it in some examples on some internet sites, but they don't use this. Why? Because it tells me nothing. So what do you want me to actually do? So you've said, right, so his clinical features are consistent with asthma. What is there to assess? You've told me he's got asthma. And management, what does that actually mean? What do you actually want me to do? You know what I mean? So this is why people keep on asking me about like this, because every time I see this phrase, I say, oh, not this again. And they say, why? I says, well, because it's a pre-learned phrase and sentence. Right? Personalized. Get your full marks for purpose. Not the same, I'm writing to refer for your, I would appreciate highly. And why is it highly? Why is it always highly appreciated? Are they doing you a personal favour? I don't think so. So, you need to be very careful, right? So, anyway, I'm not going to go through every single criteria, but all here. You can read these, the guide. There's lots of videos. I've made quite a few. So, purpose, right? We need the content. We need the length of a document, how effectively you've summarized the information, genre, style. What we're going to be looking at mostly in this letter, I think, is the language, spelling, punctuation, vocab, and grammar. They need some attention. Also, organization. Right? How well you've organized your paragraphs and your sentences within your paragraphs. Okay, so Mr. Foster, okay, highly appreciated. All right. Now, a more concise way is just simply put the date at the start of your paragraph. All right. Oh, okay. On the 10th 14, Mr. Foster. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the first time or the 20th time. That's irrelevant. It actually says, it mentions this in the guide. It's talking about don't include too much detail. Don't know if I can find it now. How clearly, yeah, unnecessary information, providing too much background, historical detail, you know, and in this particular one, not grouping similar information together. Okay, so I mentioned this before in other letters which I've posted to the group. You know, what the reader knows outside the scope of the care, but often we keep seeing this. You keep on putting every single visit, every detail, too much background, not required, and again, not grouping similar information together. Too much historical detail. I keep seeing this. People keep on adding all this stuff, you know, what the surgery was, what can happen to us. You know, like it says here, they need to know the injuries, but they don't need the details of a surgery. Too much historical detail. Right? So it's how well you can summarize the information. Unnecessary repeated information. So again, you know, like but here, group similar information. So you don't have to keep saying the same things over and over, you know. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to the letter in question. So, right. Now, I'm not referring to the case notes. One, I know them, don't need to. The second is, if you think about it, I shouldn't have to. If this letter is the only information that, it's the only document that I receive, which it would be the case in real life, I shouldn't need the case notes. Everything that you write here should be clear to me, to the reader, the intended reader or the examiner. If I've got to, or the reader's got to refer to the case notes, which if it was in real life they wouldn't have, it hasn't really worked. If I've got to look at the case notes to understand what your letter is trying to tell me, that doesn't really work. So, no case notes. So, purpose. What do you want me to do? Writing to refer him for what? What are you referring him for? Highly appreciative. So, I'm not entirely clear here what you want me to actually do. Okay. Presented complaining of a burning sensation in the lower part of the chest after meals. Article use. So you've got presenting complaint and symptoms. Then you've got a history, not compliant. Then you've got some tests that were ordered. Okay. So, right, if you think about it, in terms of a visit, there's 3 stages. There's what the patient says, oh, doctor, I've got a terrible burning pain. What you find by examination and by asking some questions, and then what action do you take? Now, I notice here, right, so usually people put, or can put, in this case, they possibly could, they could put a history, like a paragraph. Yeah? So you don't need to be mixing your visit and a history. If there's enough for a history, a paragraph, you could put this probably here. Please note, Mr. Foster, I think there was something about allergic to cats or something, oxycodone. There was some other stuff that you could use. I think he's got a family history of asthma as well. Yeah. So I can't see that here. So what I would do, presenting complaint. Complaining of symptoms were consistent. Okay. Now, he smokes for 4 years. So, has been a smoker, hasn't stopped. So, present perfect. Eczema, uncountable, so we don't need that article there. So his medications are Ventin and Pulmicort. However, Mr. Foster, he is non-compliant to them or for them. Does not complain with it. Compliant. So 6 as well as now. Right now, you've got this very awkward sentence here, this use of passive here. So you've got right, CXXR and FP tests were ordered, and Pantazole for good was prescribed, as well as discussion about compliance was made. How can you make right? So what I would do, end that sentence there, right? So, not too long, complicated sentences. So 6 hours well prescribed. Mr. Foster was also advised to stop smoking, and you could say compliance would be, and right, so we could put smoking and his need for compliance with his as the medication was discussed. Okay, that's a little better in terms of organization now. Okay, so you can't make a discussion. You can have a discussion, or a certain subject can be discussed. So you can do it there. So you've got parallel structure. So you've got was advised and was discussed. Okay, that's good. Now, subsequent visit, just tell me when the visit was, and I can probably work out it's a subsequent visit, because it's a week later. So, you know what I mean? You don't need to tell me this. Now, right. Now, what's the date for today? It's the 25th. No, sorry, that's his DOB. So, 18th. So it's today. Yeah. So you've got today's date. So simply say today. I just had to check and make sure. So you don't tell subsequent visits on the 18th, which is today when you are writing this. So now we can use present simple. Today, Mr. Foster is still not compliant or non-compliant. That's what we usually do. Non-compliant with medication. His symptoms of GERD otherwise is resolved. Okay. Now, again, I'm not looking at the case notes because it's like, isn't this so? Again, I'm not going to look at the notes because I kind of don't. I need to, but if you think about it, right, for the reader now, right, I'm not sure what the score is, what is going on. So, first paragraph, so a week ago, okay, Mr. Foster presented, burning sensation, symptoms were consistent, he's been a smoker, he's got eczema, some tests were ordered, trial was prescribed, he was advised to stop smoking. Okay. A week later, today, still non-compliant. Now, was complaining. So we've got past continuous here. So when he came today, he was complaining about wheeze and cough. So is this something that has happened in the past week? You know, I mean, so why? So it's only happened in the past week, or did he have these symptoms when he presented a week ago? Yeah, so you can see why the reader might be a bit confused. Okay, so Mr. Foster's still non-compliant. You can join these sentences together. You don't need to show the symptoms of GERD are resolved. There's no otherwise. Symptoms are compliant. However, symptoms good are resolved. Mr. Foster, what? So, you've got present simple. So he came today. So today he's still non-compliant. So was complaining, past continuous. So what? So when he came in, he was complaining at that time. Complaining of wheeze and cough, which caused him to wake at night, which caused him to awake at night. as well as shortness of breath, we don't need that comma, when he plays sports. Okay, his test results were normal. Mr. Foster was involved in discussion. Well, I should hope so, because if he wasn't involved, then you would be talking to yourself. Really, Doc, yeah? So he was advised or recommended. Right. So what can we change this here? Mr. Foster was reminded, involved in a discussion. I think there was something about this. He didn't remember to take his medication. Yeah. Because it doesn't give me a reason why he's non-compliant. But okay, I don't know. How can we make this sentence a little better? Mr. Foster was, because you've probably told him once, was reminded about the importance. Let me see what can we do. Was reminded about the importance of not missing medication dosage, and was advised to take it as soon as he remembered, but not to double dose, but not to duplicate or to double dose. I think that's what it said in the case notes. When he remembered, he took it twice. Okay, some additional information about smoking cessation was shared with Mr. Foster. Oh, well, okay. Do I really need this? If you did both of Mr. Foster further assessment and management. Again, I'm not really sure what precisely you want me to actually do. I'm a bit reluctant to look at the notes. However, I'll have to, because I'm not quite sure what it is you want me to actually do. Yeah, let's have a look. Zach Foster. Let's have a look. Right, worsening asthma. Okay, what do you want me to do? Further management, lung function. Right, so you want me to check his lung function and to advise him. Yeah. So continue current management, refer to respiratory specialist for lung function. Yeah, so you want me to check his lung function, I suppose, and to give advice about management of asthma. Okay, so that's what I would put for the purpose. You want me to check his lung function, not simply say I'm writing to request your, what is it? Yeah, your further assessment and management. You know, the features are consistent with asthma and who requires a lung function test or lung function assessment. You could put that there, alright? Function assessment. Okay. Well, that's good. So, requires a lung function assessment. If you go for further assessment and management, I think the case notes say that you gave him some advice, so you don't want me refer to risk for lung function and advice about asthma management. Yeah, right. So you also want me to give him some advice. Yeah, so you could do something like, yeah, both Mr. Foster. Right. Why do you keep people saying further assessment? I've not assessed him yet, so how can it be further? If I've not seen him, right, then it can't be further assessment, can it? if I've seen him once and I see him a second time, it's further assessment. Again, this is one of these memorized phrases for assessment and what is it? Advice. So for assessment, including a long function test. You can put that in because you're supposed to put your purpose in again, long function test, and advice on what's the and you already said this, I'm referring, you know, so you've got, I'm writing to refer, I'm referring. This is the place to put your appreciation at the end. You know, referring to Mr. Foster for assessment, including a function test, or simply put, for Mr. Foster, right, so, for Mr. Foster, I would appreciate you, right, you say, I would appreciate you performing a long function test on Mr. Foster and advise him on how to manage his condition. You could do that. Okay. How to manage. Okay. So we're not using any memorized expressions here now, right? It's not a template, right? So what do you want me to do? Consider asthma, long function assessment. Don't need that. Get rid of that. Okay, make it clear. Watch your articles. There's quite a bit of stuff here. A bit of spelling, some article use. I say, too long sentence, break that sentence down. Okay, parallel structure, advised and was discussed. Okay, put your date at the start of your paragraph. It's a day, right? Non-compliant, watch your phrasing and get that purpose. In view of the above, appreciate you performing long function test, Mr. Foster, and advising him on how to manage his condition. Okay, right, so it's quite a lot of stuff there. You could have maybe added a bit more content. Looking at the case, can notice there's a few things, but anyway, I hope that gives you some idea, right? I hope that gives you some idea of how you can or how you could write your letters. Okay, there we go. Hope that helps.